Last week I read a couple of poems reminiscing about a trip out west as a child uh, on family vacation. And so this week I'm going to kind of reminisce, or these poems are both sort of about much later in my life, in my 20s, give or take, on the other side of the continent, in out east, in New York specifically. The first one I'm going to read is, I was sort of couch surfing at the time, living with my girlfriend who was doing an internship at the UN at the time, and so we were staying in this Brooklyn apartment in Park Slope, which is we were just like a couple of blocks from Grand Army Plaza, which is kind of the entrance to Prospect Park, which is sort of the Central Park of Brooklyn, so to speak. And anyway, we used to run around there. A lot of people would run, and back then I used to run, and it was a cool experience. But okay, so this is based on that experience, and shortly after I was out there, I asked a friend who had lived in New York prior to that, what would be like a really cool restaurant to go to, and he talked about this place called Nirvana on Rooftop, I think was the title of it, and or was the name of the restaurant rather. And he said, you go to the top floor of this high rise, and it overlooks Central Park. It's really cool, the views and everything. But the thing is, he had a lot of money, and I didn't. So this is kind of from that experience. It's called The Year, and take note of the title of the, I keep saying title, but the name of the restaurant is Nirvana on Rooftop. Anyway, so this poem is called The Year Kurt Cobain Died. Remember the Indian restaurant overlooking Central Park? We took the elevator to the top floor in the middle of the afternoon. The waiter let us sit by the windows, giving on to the great expanse of the one great green space in the middle of Manhattan, an island, native named. Even though we could only afford drinks, 2 tall Taj Mahal beers, we nursed as long as we could, enjoying the expensive view and the free paneer our kind waiter offered. Remember? According to Google, it's no longer there. Yeah, at the time I wrote this, I just had Googled it to see, to kind of reminisce about it, and I could only find these past articles about it, and that the restaurant wasn't there anymore. Kind of made me sad. And yeah, anyway. Okay, so I'm going to read another one also about that same summer. Well, it's kind of relates to being back here, and anyway, I'll go ahead and read this. The pros and cons of small town versus big city, and how I may have regretted not ever really settling in some big city somewhere, coming back here. But ultimately, the bottom line of this poem is, I have no regrets. I'd rather be here. I didn't think I would say that at one time, but I think I can say that in earnest now. This one's called Meteor Shower. Trying to keep these all summertime poems too. Meteor Shower. Sitting out on my stoop this evening, I'm aware that there doesn't seem to be very much to see compared to what one could behold from the lofty steps of a Brooklyn brownstone. I remember one summer from my roaring 20s, I would sit out in front of 2 tall stories I didn't own, trying to tell them to anyone who would listen, trying to sell them to anybody willing to buy. One was that I saw things I'd never forget. The other was that I'd have no regrets. In the big town, there's so much to see. Had I stayed, I might have seen things I'll never see here. On City Place, where I've settled for all, the nameless stars falling from this sky, New York hides. Because in New York, you can't see the sky. I mean, you can't see the stars. There's so much neon and so many tall buildings. You look up, you can't see the sky. But here, you can see the sky. You can see the meteor shower. I'll take the meteor shower. Thank you very much. Cheers.